Hey there, it's Dan from the Salty Sea, and I'm here because they just announced a new Warcry box set called Catacombs. I'm excited because the old starter set is sold out everywhere, so time to get on the hype train for the new one. Hopefully this works as a sort of replacement. We'll see, and let's dive into it a little further. First of all, they've got a whole new map layout. They call this dungeon battles or dungeon whatever it is. It works. It's got lava everywhere. It looks like there's a whole bunch more choke points. You can see over here on these bridges or going around the corner in this dungeon. So that might mean that it's going to be a lot harder to surround elite models with chaff, which I think is kind of, the game sort of revolves around chaff. Chaff is king right now, the little weedy models when you flood the board with them. So it might be easier to hold them off with big chunkers and avoid getting surrounded now, but who knows? With the lava everywhere, I wonder if flying is going to be even more important. It might be, just to get over it and around the choke points. And they also mentioned doors to hide behind. So I wonder, you can see little gated portcullises here, and some of them are open as well. I wonder if they're going to be releasing new terrain rules for those things. I hope so. I hope that's what that means. In addition to showing us a new board, they also finished showing us the Khainite Shadowstalkers. So before, they had just shown the leader and two sort of cloaked characters, one with the double crossbows, reminiscent of Diablo 3, and the other just with lots of cloak. So now they've shown us this sweet sort of, more cloaks, of course, this mage guy shooting some blue magic. He's got the same slitted tights that some Daughters of Cain models wear, so that's going to kind of put him along the same theme. The double crossbow guy from the previous preview also had those tights on, and they said that this warband were sort of Marathi's assassins, so it makes sense. They've also got this kind of almost in a Batman sort of pose, dude with a spear and a dagger. It doesn't look like he'd be able to wield that spear and dagger at the same time, but I'm okay with that. It still looks cool, and a better painter than I is going to have a great time doing something crazy with these cloaks. Finally, they've got new sort of Daughters of Cain analogs that are going to come in with the band. I love the aesthetic and the composition of this one, who's holding the dagger over her head while her cloak kind of arcs in the opposite direction. Kind of the whole piece just has this sort of half moon motif going on with the way the cloak flows. I just love it. And then finally, they've got sort of Sisters of Slaughter type models. First of all, hair whips. So get hype about barbed hair whips coming out of the back of their heads. The masks are sweet. When I first saw a box of witch elves, I didn't even really consider building them as Sisters of Slaughter. I just went straight for the witch elf option. But in this warband, I think I like the Sisters of Slaughter even better. I love the way this whip looks with the crazy mask. I love the punch dagger. I think it looks great. I think that the lady with two spears, she kind of, just like her buddy in the previous slide, looks just like she couldn't really wield them both at the same time in any kind of practical way, but that's okay. Those two with the awkward spears can hang out together, and they still look good at least. Then they finally showed when and where they're going to release the Scions of the Flame. They previewed these guys way back in March, and you still haven't been able to buy them. They look just as good as they did before. The guy who's literally on fire looks sweet with his mask. The leader's looks like the leader will be really heavily armored, while the others less so. But big torch lady is sweet. Little torch lady is sweet. The big flaming weapon, two-handed weapon guy looks sweet. I bet he'll do a bunch of damage. Um, I do really like this warband, and I'm glad they're finally releasing it. Finally, they had a few sort of narrative hints in there, just bits and bobs. So, new rules for fighting dungeon battles. I wonder what that'll mean. If it's supposed to be enclosed, I wonder if there will be sort of an anti-flying mechanic or maybe a mechanic around darkness, which might hamstring shooting. I know they've got some twists in there that say darkness messes with your shooting, but I wonder if that could be a bigger part of dungeon battles. I like flying and shooting in the game, but I know some people don't. So I could see them making some new rules to kind of hamstring some of those types of warbands. They've also kind of implying here that they're going to have campaigns for every warband. I hope that's true. I hope it's not just the new ones. I haven't gone on a ton of campaigns. I've mostly done sort of condensed battles, but the campaign stuff is still sweet, and I know a lot of people really love it, so I really hope they release stuff for every warband there. That's it for what they've shown us, so I hope everyone's as excited as I am, and can't wait to see this version of the game getting more and more support down the road. This is also going to be great for new players who, as I said before, the starter set is totally sold out, so I'm hoping that this is going to be a great way to get back into the game for new players who missed out on the starter set. So hope this comes out soon, and until then, may all your rolls be crits.